I am continuing with my trek. I see nobody here right now.
Hey everyone, I'm Ishu Singh. Welcome back to my channel, The Soul Speaks, a platform where I share my wisdom. Okay, not wisdom, I'm figuring it out, but anything and everything under the ambit of travel from my experiences, which is in solo travel and budget travel. And today I'm talking about trekking in Patagonia. If I've not made it clear already, I love hiking. I absolutely love trekking. I plan trips around trekking, and I've been trekking for quite some time. But do not mistake my love for trekking with my ability to hike. So I'm pretty bad at hiking. I'm generally like the last person in the group. Like the other members of the group would be miles ahead of me. But that doesn't stop me from going on the next hike. I love it, and I think, in fact, hiking is an activity that you enjoy the most by yourself because it gives you time to reflect. In fact, there are a lot of hiking principles that I've been able to include in my everyday life and that have helped me. One principle that I apply very often is one step at a time. So that helps me not get overwhelmed by any new situation, anything new that I have to learn. Because one tiny step at a time, and I know that I'm getting better. So yeah, more on that later. So today I'm especially talking about hiking in Patagonia region, which is that the southern part of South American continent, which is shared between Chile and Argentina. Very expensive. Also expensive because the weather there is not conducive to grow much or most of the year, so they have to import a lot of things. Hence, I believe it's expensive. And because it's so expensive, you have to really plan your travel well. I personally was traveling on very low budget, so I wanted to make the most of each day that I was in Patagonia. In all, I traveled there for close to 2 to 3 weeks, and I was hiking almost every single day. These towns in Patagonia are also really small, so most of the places that I wanted to go to, I would walk. And of course, there are a lot of national parks, so you can go on day hikes, etc. Um, yeah, so in this region, I want to talk about some of the popular treks, some of the treks that I went to, and I found them really beautiful. The most popular trek in the Patagonia region is Torres del Paine. This is in Chile. The base location is Puerto Natales, so that's where you would be put up, and then you'll have to take a bus to the entrance of the national park. And in this national park, so this Torres del Paine trek, it has three popular routes, actually two popular routes. But most of the people do the trek between 1 to 10 days. So there is a day trek, then there is a W circuit, and there is an O circuit, which is the longest one. The I don't remember exactly what was the entrance ticket amount, but it is fairly expensive because it is quite a popular hike. Takes some amount of maintenance there. I couldn't do this trek, and I didn't do this trek because it is one of those few activities in all of South America that requires you to make your reservations in advance. And I was traveling without plans. A lot of times I was hitchhiking, so I absolutely didn't know any of my precise date of visiting a location. So I couldn't make that reservation. And I checked at a couple of places. I checked at the tourist office. Also, there's this cafe called Base Camp. They have sessions every day at 3 p.m. at the cafe regarding hiking, tips and tricks for the hike. And I checked there as well. They also mentioned that it has become mandatory to have your campsite reservations in advance. So my only option was to go there for a day hike, and I chose not to do that because I was in Puerto Natales. I think around 2 weeks into traveling in Patagonia, I was hiking every single day. So I thought I can give it a skip. Although if I could go back, I think I would do the hike. Yeah, so I couldn't do the trek even though I did visit Puerto Natales because for a day hike it's quite expensive. It required me to stay in that town for 2 additional nights because you'll have to leave super early for the national park and you'll return late. Then the park entrance, etc. I chose to not go for the hike, but it's really beautiful. If I could go back to Chile for sure, I would make my reservations and make sure that I do the W or O circuit. But do remember that the weather there is very unpredictable, super unpredictable. It can be windy, it can be super sunny. Um, it's possible that you go for the hike, spend days there, and you're not able to see the Torres, which is the range or the lake that has happened to people. But the hike itself is very beautiful, so do go for that. Some of the other popular treks are, one is Mount Fitzroy, which is where I went. The base location for that trek is El Chaltén, and it's free of cost. There is no entrance ticket to the national park. It's a 10-kilometer hike one way, but the first 9 kilometers are absolutely fine. It goes up and down, pretty, level ground. But the last kilometer, the 10th kilometer, it's almost straight uphill. It's really steep. They have a lot of instructions, and they do instruct the hikers to not go for the last kilometer if you're not wearing good shoes because you can slip, etc. However, when I was hiking there, which was in late December 2016, they were constructing some steps. If they've been able to construct the steps, then it would be less dangerous. It would be less dangerous, but it would still be difficult. That last kilometer. So yeah, if you're going for the trek, do keep that in mind that the last kilometer is very steep. But that trek is really beautiful. I did that trek in one day, so that 20 kilometers, and then from my hostel to the entrance also I walked, so it was close to 23 kilometers that day for me. But it didn't feel very difficult. The weather was amazing that day. You can, however, choose to do the trek in 2 days. There is a campsite in the middle of the trek, which is next to a stunning lake. I was not aware of this campsite, so you can choose to do that. Yeah, and I like that trek so much that I have it tattooed on my feet. Also, because it holds special importance. One, the range, the Mount Fitzroy, is very symbolic of Patagonia itself. There's a stunning lake beneath the mountains, and it was also the first, I think, 21-kilometer hike that I had done by myself. No guide, no porter. And before that, for years, every 1st January, I would put in my journal, as in my to-do list for the year, finish a half marathon. And I had it for a couple of years. I was never able to make it for some reason or the other. I was either not trained well, I didn't have the right shoes, I had not registered, the run was too expensive. Lot of reasons, but primarily I always felt that I was not prepared for a 21-kilometer run. And here I was in the middle of nowhere. I had no snacks on me because the ATM machines were not working that day. And yeah, I did 23 kilometers that day, no problem. After that, in fact, I had to get on a bus that evening, a 20-hour bus journey. I was absolutely fine after the trek. In fact, I walked around in the town. So it's that entire experience personally, it means quite a lot to me. That if you set your mind to something, you would be able to achieve it. And a lot of times we overcomplicate things, they're not as complicated. Yeah, okay, so I dwelt on that a little too much. Next, hike. So while my personal hike, it is not popular. I barely met in another soul on the hike for hours. I was by myself. Is Quejon del Azul. The starting point of this trek is El Bolson. It's a few kilometers from El Bolson. It's not walkable distance. I would say it's about between 11 to 14 kilometers, that starting point from El Bolson. Again, free of cost. The entry is free of cost. If you want to do the full loop, it's between 7 to 10 days. I was not aware of the entire loop thing. I was not even exposed to the idea of hiking on your own, carrying your tent, food, this entire camping place culture, multi-day treks. So I had gone there for a one-day hike. so it was free of cost for me. I really liked it, one, because it's not so popular. You really can experience everything that you want to experience on a good hike, which is to reflect on your own thoughts and understand your own mind better, be in the nature, be by yourself, experience nature in its pure form. The streams were so clear. The water was so while returning, I had met some forest rangers, and they told me you can drink water straight out of the stream because it's coming from glaciers. So I did that, and yeah, it's a really beautiful hike. And then there were I also really liked the hike Glacier Marshall. While the hike itself is not as stunning, I would say, from my hostel to reach the beginning of the hike, there was a. It's not very popular trail because you can reach the starting point of the trek through a cab. But I walked from my hostel because the cab was super expensive. And this is through a forest which is marked, and that was beautiful. There was orange color fungus growing on trees, and there was again barely anyone else. It was absolutely stunning. I really liked it. This trek is special for me also because it was the first time that I experienced snowfall. My hands were freezing, I didn't have gloves, but it was beautiful, and there were less people there because most of the people go to this really popular national park there, but I didn't go there because it was expensive. Yeah, apart from these, there were quite a few day hikes in El Chaltén. El Chaltén is was heavenly for a hiker. I really enjoyed hiking there, but again, the weather is so unpredictable. The first time I was in El Chaltén, it was so windy. It was raining all day. When I went for a hike, I was the only person on the hike. While returning, I met a girl, but the entire duration, I was the only girl. But the second time that I was in El Chaltén, while finding my way up, I was headed to Santiago. I stopped at El Chaltén to do another trek. It was beautiful, clear blue skies. It was not windy. Perfect weather for hiking, and was only the difference was a couple of days. Yeah, the weather is very unpredictable. It could be freezing one day actually within the same day you could have all kind of weathers. So be prepared for that. And if you're not carrying any of the camping equipment, remember that all these towns have a lot of renting places. You can rent anything you can imagine, from clothes to poles to tents to quick cooking equipment, whatever you can think of. Um, yeah, and one other trek which is popular. I'm not sure if it's very popular, but the Perito Moreno glacier hike. I didn't do the glacier hike itself. I did visit Perito Moreno, but there are tracks to see the glacier from distance. However, you can take a ship and you can hike the glacier itself. But that was quite expensive. Just taking the boat to see the glacier was quite expensive, so I didn't even think about doing the hike on the glacier. Uh, yeah, those are some popular treks in Patagonia. Of course, there's so many unnamed treks. You can just head out, go for a walk. If you have any more questions about hiking in Patagonia, do let me know. I'm trying to keep the video less than 5 minutes. It's already 14 minutes. What the fuck? If you have any more questions regarding trekking in South America, do let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer. Bye bye. Happy weekend.
I love this place. I don't want to go back. Oh no, I'm back to the base. I have to take a bus to back to my hostel now. Bye bye.